Hi Richard, nice to see you again.
All right.
So no doubt by now you'll have just watched the review that I did of Richard's Honda City Turbo 2. And I've actually paid Richard a visit just to have a look at some of the other toys that he's got here.
Yeah.
Richard, I'm really liking this garage. I've got major garage envy already.
Yeah, well, I'm quite precious about my garage. It means more to me than the house, really. So I do spend a lot of time out here.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I've got a few toys in here for you to have a look at if you're interested.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I actually came here because you were going to show me a car. And then I discovered you've got a couple of other interesting stuff in here, haven't you?
Yeah, as well as the other car, I've got a few motorbikes. As I explained earlier, Honda bikes are a big thing for me, so I've always been interested in them. And take a look at these. Yeah. It's quite rare.
This one, actually, I've got quite a soft spot for these. So we've got a step through a Honda Cub 90.
That's right, yeah. It's a 1980 Honda Cub 90. It's a 6-volt model, so these are quite rare now. And I got this out of somebody's shed years ago before the prices started going up. So now they're worth quite a lot of money, but back then you could just pick them up, you know. It hasn't had any restoration, hasn't had any paint. It's all original. All I've done is polish it up, so I'm pretty pleased. I'll never part with it. I've taken it to France on a couple of camping trips. So it means a lot to me. It's called Bertie because the previous owner's name on the logbook was Bertie. So that's what the bike's called. Yeah. As a tribute to him, yeah.
Now these were obviously quite popular all around the world, weren't they? They've made a lot of these over the years. I remember when my dad went bike trading in 1980s, late 70s, early 80s, they used to sell a lot of these because back in the day, you know, miners used to go to work, buy one of these, stick a set of L plates on, never really had to worry about doing a test, so there were no CBT back then. But sadly, a lot of them have disappeared, and nice ones are actually commanding a bit of money now.
They are. I mean, they're getting more and more hard to find at the right money. You know, people are asking up to £3,000-4,000 for them now.
Yeah. Sad thing is, in this country, we don't really have a lot of scooters and things, but the modern incarnations of this bike, when I've been out in Southeast Asia, they still ride bikes like this.
Yeah.
You see them everywhere, and they've evolved, and they've got, you know, the capacity's grown to sort of 110 and 125. They've thrown an extra gear ratio in there as well, so they're up to a 4-speed.
Yeah. And
to be brutally honest, a bike like this with a 125 and a 4-speed, they'll cruise at 60 miles per hour. You know, they'll pretty much do everything you'll need them to do, and they're surprisingly capable even on quite poor road surfaces and unmade roads as well.
Yeah, well, they are super reliable. That's the thing. They were built to last, and they're very well engineered. So being a Honda, you can rely on them.
So obviously these have you shift gears manually in a sort of conventional way to a degree, except we're missing the lever here, aren't we?
That's right, there's no clutch. Yeah, it's semi-automatic, so you've got your 3 speeds, 1 down and 2 back, with the neutral in between, and you just rev and go, really. So that's why they clunk. I think that's why they call them clunks, because they clunk into gear.
Clunk into gear.
Yeah.
And obviously back when we were young, I mean, you used to see kids flying about fields on these, usually missing the fairings and things.
Exactly. We used to have them off road. Pit stack heroes.
When they were worth nothing.
You could get them for a tenner out of somebody's shed when I was a lad.
Yeah.
And that's what we used to do. And you couldn't hurt them. You could just drive them forever.
Yeah.
And they didn't use any petrol. Well, very little, so they're great fun on these. Yeah,
fantastic. No, it certainly does look a nice example.
But, the only thing I've bought for it is the seat, because the original, the vinyl had cracked a little bit on the seat.
Right.
And I managed to find this new old stock seat, but this is, you might think I'm crazy, but I had to pay £450 for this.
Right.
Don't tell my wife.
I say, Richard, I've got major garage envy, but I've also been admiring your artwork, because you've got this really cool artwork on the wall behind you. So these are actually part of a magazine article, but the car's been used on another shoot, hasn't it, as well?
It has, yeah. It's had quite a lot of media interest since the time I've had the car. And I was approached by a major magazine publisher who wanted to do a photo shoot with it, and they wanted to put it up against the new Honda E all-electric car. So I drove it down to East London, and that's where the photos were taken.
Yeah.
And they were good enough to send me the files so I could get these printed off, and got quite a nice set of photographs.
Yeah.
Documenting the day, really.
Now, in addition to the magazine, I'm actually only the second person to film this car. I had to take it out and review it. The other people that filmed it are obviously quite an established name, aren't they?
That's right, yeah.
Do you want to give a...
Well, yeah, you're welcome to search. If you just type in Honda City Turbo on YouTube, there's a Top Gear video that was made featuring my car and the motor compo. So Mark's the second person to feature the car. So I'm sure you'll get a lot of hits.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, so you've got the artwork from on the wall around the garage. From and I think that's fantastic. It's a real nice addition to the garage.
Sure.
But we've got a lot of other toys in here, haven't we? So we've got another motorcycle. Something a little bit more racy this time.
That's right. I mean, harking back to my youth again. You know, this is a bike that I always dreamed of owning. So it's a Honda NSR 250 SP Sport Production. So it's as close as you'll get to a race bike on the road. It's a 250. So it's got a dry clutch. Basically it's a race bike for the road, and they did race them in Japan. And this one, it's a Japanese import, so they weren't ever sold in the UK.
Yeah.
But one or two dealers did bring them in, so I was lucky enough to get this.
Going back a little bit earlier in history, in the sort of 70s and 80s, in the UK, a 17-year-old could throw a set of L plates on a 250 and ride it legally.
True.
The law was later changed to the 125 learner law,
That's right,
which effectively killed the industry, and the place my dad worked at closed within a year of the law changing, because they sold so many. But the problem we had is you had 17-year-olds on bikes that were faster than a lot of the average family cars. And bikes like the Suzuki X7, the X5, the Yamaha RDs in particular, air-cooled and then the liquid-cooled later. And it was possible, maybe fold-it mirrors in and lay not tank, to nudge 100 miles per hour on these bikes.
That's right.
Which kind of set alarm bells ringing a bit, but there was a few final hurrahs. Obviously, was it Suzuki had the RGV 250?
That's right.
They were a really quick bike, and that is probably the nearest to this.
Yeah, because this is a V-twin.
Yeah.
As the same as they were using on the race bikes back in the early 90s. So it's derived straight from the racetrack.
Yeah.
So in Japan, they're restricted on speed, I believe, to 110 miles an hour. But you can get far more out of them by de-restricting them, but I've just left this as standard, so it's fascinating for me.
But it's not just bikes, is it, that you've got in here, Richard? Actually, the thing that you invited me over to show me was you've got another City Turbo, haven't you?
I have, yeah. One wasn't enough for me, so
2 Turbo 2s, does that make a Turbo 4?
It may well do. This one came up in the UK, and I wasn't really wanting to buy it, but the opportunity arose, and I thought, well, why not, even if I just use it for spares for the other one.
Yeah.
But it does need a lot of work, so I've decided to embark on a full restoration. So I've got a lot to do on it.
Yeah.
But I did find out, I did some research in Japan through my contact from my friends in Japan, that it's a one-owner car. Until 2017 it came off the road. So it's been used by the same person most of its life, and then it was imported into the UK in 2020, I think. So it's I even found pictures of it on Google Earth parked outside the previous owner's house in Japan. So I'll just roll it over to let you have a better look at it, Mark. I've got it on these jigs so that I can work on. So over it goes. Okay, so it's exactly the same as my other one. It's a 1985 Honda City Turbo. The engine and gearbox is down here, look. And all the rest of the car is stowed away up in the top of the garage up there. So the whole car is up there, all the interior and everything. But what I've been doing, I've been stripping the paint back and treated it with rust stabilizer, but it's had previous welding work done. It needs repairs. The sills are quite bad. The floor pan is okay, but there are areas that need plating. So I thought, well, I'll just go for it and take it right back to a bare shell, and something I've always wanted to do, really. So this is where I'm going to learn how to weld, hopefully. But yeah, you can see inside it's not got much left to take out really now. I'm guessing it's going to take me quite a long time to do it, so I'm not in any rush. Got to be patient on this one. Yeah, you can see bits in the floor and stuff. All these sills have been patched up in the past. Yeah. There's a hole at the back of there. It's not pretty. But it's taken me a few months to get this far with it.
Yeah.
You have to burn it off, the underseal. You can't get it off with a wire wheel. You have to actually burn it
off.
off.
Just clogs it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've had to do it a bit on mine. Again, I dream of this, having a garage to like I say, learn how to weld and things like that. And I suppose another good thing is while you've got this car in bits, it's almost like if ever you come to do anything on the other one, at least you'll know what's behind the trim, won't you, from having done this one?
Or flip it the other way, when I come to put this one back together, I've got the other one to refer to.
To have a look at, yeah.
Yeah, because believe me, there's a lot of bits that I've taken off, so I'll never remember how it all goes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thanks very much, Richard.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it certainly has. Yeah. Of course, as always, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to comment and subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Again, if you're not already a channel member, channel memberships are available for the price of a cup of coffee. And if you've got an interesting car that you'd like featured, we could maybe take out for a review. Or perhaps you've got a garage a bit like this one that you think's worthy of a bit of a tour. Again, drop me an email. Links will be in the video description. markonmotoring@yahoo.com. And I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Thanks, Matt.